So I was finally able to watch the brand new Super Mario Brothers movie starring Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Anna Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, and Seth Rogen. What a star-studded cast. Now, I've been very excited for this film. In fact, since the beginning, I know everyone was criticizing Chris Pratt, oh, he doesn't sound Italian. From the beginning, and there's a video here on my channel, me saying that, hey, the cast is perfect. Go search it up right now on my channel. Go search up Chris Pratt casted as Mario. It's this funny video I made, and I said from the beginning, I'm defending every one of the casting, and I'm going to say this right now. Every single one of them did perfect. Some better than others, but we'll get into that in the review. So, I'm a big Mario fan. I grew up playing the Mario games. My favorite of them all were Mario 64 on the DS. I also played a lot of the Mario Kart games. I played the Mario and Bowser Inside Story. I grew up with Mario. In fact, the only time I ever dressed up for a birthday party was me dressing up in a Mario costume with the mustache and everything. And by the way, this is coming from someone who never has celebrated Halloween. So I got to dress. The only time I ever dressed up as a character was Mario. I loved Mario so much growing up. So there was so much pressure going into this film, and they delivered. I think it's a solid film. Do I say it's the best video game adaptation of all time? I gotta say, adaptation-based wise, yeah. But if we're talking about movie itself, I'll say it's not as good as Last of Us. Then again, these are completely different things, but I gotta say, it's making some tough competition for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So let me get into the great. First of all, if you're a Mario fan, there's just so many references and so much nostalgia in this film that if you love Mario, your mind's gonna explode with how many references. There's actually this funny reference to Donkey Kong that I won't say what it is, but when you hear it, if you're a Donkey Kong fan, you're gonna understand exactly what I mean. And there's just so many references. Like, I remember there's part where I'm like, oh, that's from Mario 64, that's from Mario Odyssey, that's from this, that's from that, and it felt like a entire mind fuck. In the first half of this film, there's three. I'm gonna talk specifically about the three parts of this film: the first act, second act, and third act. The first act was this abysmal bundle of joy. It felt like that perfect sandwich. You know, you got the bread that's delicious, the ham, the lettuce, the tomatoes, cheese, everything, and they all blend in really well. That first half feels like that. Now, it gets bumpy in the second and third act, but first of all, the characters are great. Mario, the voices were so perfect. And I like how immediately they kind of make fun of the whole Italian accent thing. And the thing is, I don't care what anyone says, Charlie Day and Chris Pratt are way too perfect in this film. They sound Italian American. I've heard people sound like this, and I'm not even from New York. And so it was cool. And I know we talk about representation nowadays. You know, of course, black people got Black Panther, Hispanics get Blue Beetle, Asians got Shang-Chi. I feel like Italians are genuinely going to celebrate, especially the first 30 minutes of this film. It has a lot of Italian references. I remember even one of my friends being like, is this racist? You know, all the Italianness that they had in the film. And Chris Pratt, I'm not joking. When I finished this film, I completely forgot that was Chris Pratt, because that didn't sound like Chris Pratt. It sounded like an actual Italian American. Same thing with Charlie Day. They sound Italian. They just sound very Brooklyn Americanized. They sound more like New Yorker than freaking Tom Holland in the Spider-Man films. Like, that's actually crazy. But the animation's great. Let me talk about all the other characters. Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong, I'll say, wasn't really a scene stealer, but he definitely, when he's there, he's funny. I really enjoy him. Toad has a lot of funny scenes. There's a lot of funny scenes. Bowser. Now, we're going to get... I think Bowser deserves his own sections for all the wrong things. Honestly, I know that sounds bad. Everyone's praising Bowser, but I have a completely different vision of him. But Jack Black himself was great. Anna Taylor-Joy, I think Peach was honestly great. You actually got to see an origin to Peach, something you never get to see ever. So it was nice to see Peach get her story, get her own moments to shine. But all the other characters were great. And the story itself, it's not anything special. It's what you expect. Mario has to fight Bowser to save the Mushroom Kingdom. They still give you that, you know, Mario saves Peach, but that's not the whole plot of the whole story of the film. Is kind of the opposite, where it's Mario is trying to save Luigi. Now, I'll get into that negative later, but one thing that I'll give a main positive to the story is Mario and Peach have a real relationship. There's moments in this movie where you genuinely feel that they both have some type of connection. You see Peach is living in a world filled with toads. There's no humans, and seeing this other human show up is a blessing to her. And I like how early on you get to see the dynamic of the Mario brothers. The best scenes in this film are the scenes with Mario and Luigi, which is why I say the first act of the film is the best part, because that's when you get to see mainly their brother dynamic. They felt like brothers. And I also like that they body what the games were. Mario is this confident yet a bit silly character, while Luigi is this very anxious and nervous character all the time. And you even see growing up that Mario was always like there for Luigi, and Luigi was kind of that brother that he always needed to get out of bad situations. And that brother dynamic, I like that it also carries on to the family. You genuinely felt like Mario had some kind of issues in his life. You felt anytime, because the beginning starts you off with showing you that Mario and Luigi in Brooklyn don't feel special. They're trying to become plumbers. They're struggling, and I like that they show you that aspect early on. They're even giving you references of the game even when they're not in the Mushroom Kingdom. The scenery is beautiful. I like that each land that we get to see three. We get to see the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, and the Donkey Kong Kingdom, Jungle Kingdom. And I like that. I also like to see the scenery in Jungle Kingdom. I like seeing the whole Donkey Kong-esque, all the monkeys there. I like that. I like how funny they are. I like the soundtrack in this movie is a lot of 80s movie. One of the songs is Thunderstruck by AC/DC. I Need a Hero. There's a lot of 80s songs in this movie. Literally all the stereotypical 80s movies you've heard in every movie is quite literally in this film. It's a positive, it's also a negative, but for the most part it's positive. The scores in this film is so great. All the times you get to see the Mario action levels are fantastic. Every time there's just so much to it. I also like how they explain a lot of the things that you see in the game. For example, they actually have to physically eat the mushrooms, which I found really hilarious. And then you get to see the power-ups. I like how the little shrinking blue one is like seen as the bad one. I like that anytime they get hit, they get smaller or they get bigger. It's literally a bundle of joy for Mario fans, and I don't think this is even a question, but this movie is far better than what they tried to do in the 90s. But now I got to get into the negatives. The first negative I have is I have three major negatives of the film. I said in this movie, the reason why I referenced there's three acts of this film. The first one's perfect. The second one is good, but the third one gets weak. Or, no. What I would say is the second act was the weakest. The third act was a little stronger. It almost saved the second act. The reason why I say that, like I said in the movie, the best part of the film is the brotherly relationship between Mario and Luigi. Charlie Day and Chris Pratt were perfect. The issue with this film is you fall in love with the brothers. You care for the brothers. And you even care for Mario trying to save his younger brother Luigi. But they're only together for 20 minutes. And then they're separated for the entire movie. And then all you get to see is Luigi having... I mean, I like that they reference Luigi's mansion. But for the rest of the movie, it's just Luigi's just kind of doing nothing. And there's even parts in this film that you forget Luigi is even in this film until they have to reference him to remind you that, yeah, Luigi is still part of the story. And that's a big issue. Not the biggest issue, which is unfortunate, but should have had more Mario and Luigi. They were literally, every scene they were together was the best scene ever. Another negative I have is this film's too short. This film goes too fast. There's a moment where Mario, Peach, and Toad are going on a journey. And in every movie, when they go on journeys, I feel like you learn so much about the characters. You learn their flaws. You learn the reason why they do the things they do. But in this movie, they kind of skim through it all. Now, there is a training montage of Mario and learning how to be in this Mushroom Kingdom. And that scene's cool. I feel like there should have been more scenes like that. But you only have that like twice. Or once, really. It's a long scene, but... And then after that, you get the journey, but you don't get the obstacle. You know, you don't feel much for this journey when they're heading to the Jungle Kingdom. And I felt like you could have used that scene for development. You could, especially for Bowser, Bowser's the biggest criticism I have of this film. But that's something that the film missed. It needed 20 more minutes. This movie was only an hour and 30 minutes. That felt too quick. And when I finished the movie, all I kept thinking is, man, I would have maybe this scene would have been much better if we got to learn more about the characters. I felt like you could have had a scene where Luigi's talking to all the people that got kidnapped by Bowser and find out what is the motives that they all have. Why do they live here? Why are they doing the things they do? Why are the Toads like this? You know, we could have learned a lot more. But instead, it's just cut much quicker, you know? But now let me get into the biggest negative of this film, and it is Bowser. Now, Jack Black is great. Bowser has a lot of funny scenes. This film is funny. That's something I didn't reference. It's funny. Right? I had a lot of laughs in this film. There's a specific moment with Donkey Kong. There's a reference, if you're a major Donkey Kong fan, like I was saying again, there's a major reference that made me laugh so hard in the film that for a while I literally was dying of laughter just because it was a reference to something that, Donkey Kong in the games. But Bowser was very wasted. Bowser was wasted. And what I'm referring to when I say that is Bowser in this movie is not menacing. They start you off. You see this in the trailer. Bowser takes the Power Star. And in that scene, Bowser's powerful. He's like strong. And it sets you up to think Bowser's this opposing menace who can destroy anyone in his path. But for the rest of the movie, he's kind of just simping for Princess Peach, which I like. That was a nice addition that they showed you. Why is he going after Peach? And it's because he's in love with her, which would completely show you why he kidnaps Peach all the time. You know, there has to be a reason to it. I like the reason, but they made him into. It's like Illumination forgot you. This is your villain, and so they made him comedic. It's like they were like, okay, we got Jack Black, this really funny actor. Let's give him a lot of funny lines. And they are funny. There's even a musical element to Bowser that is hilarious. But they overdo the joke so much that by the third act of this film, you don't feel Bowser as a threat. Because the beginning of the movie makes you think Mario's a loser, Luigi's a loser, they're just losers in Brooklyn. Bowser's this powerful demon who can destroy anything in his way. By the end of the film, all of that's removed. It's just, oh, Mario and Luigi are not powerful. Bowser is not really all that powerful. Bowser is actually really stupid. I'm not going to say exactly, obviously, because no spoilers, but there's a thing that happens with the Power Star. And you see the Power Star in the trailers. And I'm not going to say exactly what happens. But the entire movie, you're left questioning, why aren't you doing this? Why are you stalling for time? What's the whole point of this? Why are your motives this? When you're not even trying to complete that motive. And I felt like there were so many times where Bowser was overdone as a joke. And there's even a fight sequence where Bowser is sidelined so that you can see the rest of the characters fight, the little Goombas, the Koopas, everything. And that's a little bit, that was a little of my frustration in the film. That Bowser... And Jack Black was great. I know everyone's praising Bowser as the best part of the film, but to me, he was the weakest. Because by the time the movie ended, I didn't think of Bowser as a threat. I just thought him as, okay, he was the bad guy in this movie, but really not really. And I feel like I would have been less disappointed if it wasn't Bowser, or if it wasn't played by such a great Jack Black, right? But no, all the voice actors were great. The movie was fun. It was a thrill ride. Some of the comedy does get a bit cringy, but it's very few. But overall, the comedy did make me laugh a lot. But with Bowser, I don't know, man. I just feel like Bowser was so universally wasted. There's just so much potential with him. But no, overall, I had a lot of fun with the movie. I really enjoyed it. I think especially if you're a Mario fan, there's just so much to unpack here. I think... Honestly, this is a movie that I think you can take your kids to. If you're in a family, this is a perfect family film. It's a short movie. If you like these kinds of fun little animated films, you're definitely going to enjoy it. There's 2 post-credit scenes that one of them, the first one, not going to say it. It's supposed to be funny, but I didn't find it funny because of the movie. You'll find out what I mean. But the second one is a major hint to a future Mario thing that I think a lot of hardcore Mario fans are gonna love. But the score, I don't know if I brought it up in the review, but the score is great. There's a specific score that you hear throughout the film. And if you search, you can hear this right now. If you search up the clip of Peach teaching Mario how to go through the obstacles, that score is beautiful. I love that score. Even though it sounds normal, it's great. The way they were able to remix a lot of Mario songs from the games is amazing. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the heck out of everything. The animation's great. That's something, I'm not a big Illumination fan. I was talking about this in my stream earlier. There's a couple movies I like from them, but they're not movies I love. Is the Mario movie a movie I love? No, but it's a movie I enjoyed for the time being. It's a popcorn flick. It's a movie I definitely wouldn't mind rewatching on streaming multiple times. I definitely can't wait for all the sequels, because I do think that this movie does also set up that there's a Mario galaxy out there to explore. But yeah, that's it for my review. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about this review? Do you agree, disagree? Have you seen the movie? Have you not? Whatever it is, let us know in the comment section down below. See y'all in the next one.
Where do you
Ciao.
go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Cinderella, yeah. I think I'll find your glass slipper, baby.